Hello everyone. Joining us today we have Suchit Mukherjee. Suchit has more than 20 years of experience in media and entertainment industry. He's one of the top creative leaders in the world of VFX and CGI. He has managed a mega projects across the world, and he has been instrumental in setting up production studios in US, Japan, and India. He has personally delivered Final Fantasy, a theoretical feature Bollywood projects PK, Airlift, Baby, Wazir, ABCD2, several Japanese titles as well as productions from the Pasadena office in the US, alongside stalwarts Danny Harrington and Cliff Warner. Without any further delay, let's listen to Suchit speak about intellectual property, creating intellectual properties and original content with the
Yeah,
use of
with
latest technology
latest technology.
for the Walmart.
Thank you, Krishnavani. Thank you so much, and glad to be here at the India Joy. So welcome everyone, and it's an honor to be sharing the stage with all of you. It's a great platform. So welcome to the VFX Summit India Joy 2021. So so yeah, like Krishnavani gave the introduction. I mean, be it Bollywood projects, be it all the projects that we have done here. Uh, or be it projects abroad. Let's take a moment to kind of reflect and look back at where we are and how we are. So I gave a little uh, introduction. So let's make it more. Even though I'm the only one speaking, but let's make it a little more chat friendly. And the the start of all this happened when we were doing much before the pandemic has hit us, and we were working on the Dubai theme parks. We envisioned the Dubai theme parks, and we using different technology to create theme park rides and 4D cinemas and rides like that of the King Kong ride in Universal, similar to that in Hub Zero and in Bollywood Park in Dubai Park. And at that time, I realized that it's really a blessing to kind of use existing IPs and leverage them out from Japan and from US, be it movie IPs, or gaming IPs, and leverage them and create something new, envision something new, create a script, and probably see that if it really works in the world of media and entertainment. And it did, and it did brilliantly. We made new scripts out of games, PS4, PS3 games. At that time, there was no PS5, and the likes of Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, and and you know for companies in Japan, for companies in the US, for Microsoft, Gears of War, for BioWare, all of them. And when we were doing that, a lot of things were kind of made easy, even though we're creating fresh, original content in the world of entertainment. I mean, at that time, not exactly in movies, but in the world of theme parks and in the world of high-end gaming. Uh, the technology available to us in years 7 8 years ago um, were motion capture, and still lidar scanning and photogrammetry and creating photoreal visuals of those replicating certain scenes and making them different and making them to be part of those rights. And then we started working on films, of course. Then we started working on Bollywood films and a lot of well-known titles and Mission Mangal and whatnot. And then obviously we were at the same time creating VR and certain games. Then I think as we all know, that we were hit by a pandemic, and we all thought, I mean, to be very fair to what we um, are doing right now, and we are very very fortunate to see that how the market has taken a huge upward scaling, a boom. At that time, we were all worried that what's going to happen to the M&E industry, and everything is shut. Theaters are shut. People are, how will production happen? How will we produce what we have been doing all this while? And slowly in a post-pandemic world, we have kind of realized that the demand for media and entertainment has taken a huge upward swing. For example, last year consumers have been literally consuming content on their devices voraciously, resulting in a huge, like the dot-com boom. It is a boom for the M&E industry. The paradigm shift, which I always refer to it as, depending majorly, for the VFX and animation, leveraging VFX and animation to clock up more growth, because we have been consuming content sitting at the comfort of our homes and enjoying them. Because if we look around, talking from the India-centric point, the India market point of view, which I have a lot of graphics to talk about, but let's not go there immediately. Is huge. The potential, the consumer data is huge, and we don't have any other form of entertainment in India. We don't have really a theme park or an amusement park or somewhere we can go, and especially in pandemic, it's all limited to the access of our homes. And in a pre-existing industry where trends have kind of blown up in a different manner, we have adopted this digital adoption is more or less like a survival strategy for all of us. In the sense, the way everything has flourished, we have created content for OTT platforms. We've created content for movies and consumed them in OTT platforms. E-commerce, a lot of e-commerce companies, industries, a lot of computer. There's a computer magnet, a company, an institution, educational institutions. They have kind of gone online and started creating visuals and and templates and characters, so that the kids and the people sitting at home and doing online classes and studying can enjoy them and can also learn at the comfort of their homes. So all of these things have taken a huge upward swing, which probably was not exactly the anticipation when the pandemic has hit us. Now, with this global online content consumption, as it has doubled from an average of, say, as per the data shows, from 3 hours, 17 minutes to about 7 hours now. 3 hours, 3.5 hours to about 7 hours. Literally doubled. People are consuming paid videos. They're paying for it. Media platforms, OTT platforms. Despite, I would say, for everyone to understand what I'm exactly referring to, despite there is of an economic slump, which obviously we have faced during the pandemic, this industry has taken an upswing. Drastically, consumer trends, say, for OTT, for contents being created, for original contents being created, for cinemas, theatrical releases not happened. And the overall decline in numbers have been 24%, but 1.38 trillion loss for the Indian M&E sector. This going back to dated 2017, and here we're in 2021. We have exactly doubled our expectations in spite of a pandemic having hit us. Now, the whole point of telling all of these and going through a little bit of statistics of how probably jobs have been created for the VFX and the CGI industry, sitting at home at the comfort of our homes. Almost new jobs created that we're expecting 75 to 120K by 2025 in the VFX and animation industry, is due to the fact that content creators have had the luxury of using different technology available to them at their doorstep. Uh, we have found out ways to work from home and created offices far away from our offices, created connections and proper technology and rendering services and ways to support those content creation in the terms of VFX and CGI at the comfort of our homes, connected them to the servers and made all technical specifications possible. And this is where we have allowed the industry to grow, knowing that all of us sitting at home will be consuming this, and in a way fueled the growth of this industry. So this is driven by us, all of us, the viewers, the creators, uh, the the people who are executing it. What a great leverage, right? Now, having said that, uh, I believe that there are times and there are places where we should probably look at creating um, more of original content, because we are the outsourced destination for the world. We're doing a lot of projects. We're doing a lot of high-end projects as well with the required quality and stuff. But are we leveraging our skills to create more of original content, to create what what probably we are capable of creating with the use of this technology that we are doing for others? Now let's look at what are the tools that are probably available at our doorstep. If I go back to the future of if I talk about the future of content creation. Now I remember that we have we're doing workshops and we're doing certain collaborations right now in order to create more of original content in the field of mythology, in films, in gaming, in educational videos, which we are also engaged into, but mostly into high-end CGI and VFX for films and gaming using virtual production. Yeah. Now it is not exactly. I mean, virtual production will come to virtual production, but considering the market size and growth, if we write more stories, if we develop more stories, if we probably invest in creating using this technology to probably have a target set, a driven target, considering the revenue patterns of coming to a particular margin of like we do like we have a target of say doing X amount of movies in a year's time, which we're doing for any foreign studios or here as a VFX house. The same people creating, brainstorming of a set pattern, choosing their subject areas, maybe adventure, like Tom Hanks' Castaway. Have they done a Castaway? Probably not yet. Maybe a very nice horror, maybe mythology, maybe a superhero, maybe a creature story. Maybe a really nice creature story like The Host. All of these using using virtual production, using lidar scanner, using photogrammetry. The world has become smaller yet bigger. That's a paradox, but that is exactly what the pandemic has done to us. The world has become really, really small, but it has become the scope has become immensely big. Now, coming to virtual production now, it is, of course, we'll play a few videos, but it is, I believe my host is there with me because I don't have the access to play the videos from here. But yeah, it's a use and incorporation of visual effects and technology throughout the production life cycle, right? So, well, the process isn't exactly new, as we all know, referring back to all the articles that have been produced by Deloitte and everybody else. However, there are trends which I would take the help of few data, accelerating Hollywood's increased interest and adoption of the process. And COVID-19 introduces unprecedented changes to the production process, right? So creators moving forward in a COVID-19 entertainment landscape, here directors and VFX professionals will define virtual production slightly differently, which we all do. And I completely agree with that because, however, at its core, virtual production is nothing more but modern content creation that incorporates VFX earlier and leverages technology throughout the entire production lifecycle to enhance the way content is created. So, it is basically helping us to enhance what we have already visualized with the help of certain tools to see it before, and we're probably in a world today where even though we've now started and we're currently shooting certain things in London, a film in London, there are certain probably shots being done in Russia, but it gives us the freedom to also choose a place and time to develop content by creating those content and taking the data, probably sending out certain teams at different places and taking few data and scans and creating them obviously in CGI to be incorporated for a projection wherein the DOP director and the actors and all of us can see what the final outcome can be and act against that. Of course, the post process is still there. The post process will have different going. I believe a lot of my peers have spoken about a lot of technicality involved in this, and there will be post process involved in terms of taking up reflections and all that stuff. But here, I believe it gives out the freedom more than ever before, somewhere to eliminate very, very high costs, to control time with all this technology, and to create outstanding stories from from our motherland, like an Avatar, like probably a Mandalorian, like a lot of other things, like maybe a Mahabharat, like maybe a mechanical warrior movie from the Mahabharat, taking and stopping at Avatar and beyond, maybe a mechanical warrior game, using all of these which are available to us right now. So, the popularity of VFX heavy genres and recent virtual production breakthroughs are basically increasing accessibility, right? And jockeying between game engines and studios. Now, a lot of people ask me, somebody told me yesterday that there's Unreal and there's Unreal 5, and so we don't need Maya anymore. We don't need Max anymore. We don't need Blender anymore. Everything can be done in Unreal. It looks so good. Everything is Unreal. I think obviously there is a lack of understanding. We are still learning. We are still studying. But also we have a responsibility of Unreal used to be a rendering software for us when we were doing gaming 8 years ago, right? So there is a responsibility between whether we are obviously and of course using Maya and Max and Blender and obviously Unreal, or we're using Frostbite. Obviously we cannot use Frostbite because that's for DICE and they use it to make Battlefield. Whatever we're using, it's a combination of sorts to share the work and leverage it and make it faster and better using all of these and create content. If today when our OTT investment is more than I think my peers will know more. I believe more than 2,000 crore this year. Streaming services are expected to spend around 2,000 crore, a 17% rise over 1,400 crore still spent in 2019. And this, remind you, comes after the lockdown, where platforms will further increase their spends on a lot of other things, education, sports, and according to the latest EY Media and Entertainment Industry report, 500 original titles are likely to be released in 2021 across platforms, as opposed to 385 titles in 2019 and 220 in 2020. It's a huge change. It's a massive change. So that means our outlook is changing. The fact that we are in such brilliant and such a large VFX and CGI summit, it proves that India, from about 10% of market share, are going to go up to about 30%, 30% of the world market share in CGI and VFX. So why not make our content and pay us for the same? Right? I mean, this is what we have been talking before the pandemic and talking about a lot of superhero stuff and mythology stuff and creature stuff. Like Host was made, and such an intelligent filmmaker. Like, you should all watch. I mean, for all the aspiring students and for all the aspiring contenders who want to come into this industry, what a smart film. What a smart film in today's time. We can use virtual production. We can use, Unreal in the way it's supposed to be used. But a creature which is a size that can be managed comes out in broad daylight, not in the night. And when we need to, it goes back into the water. Work is managed intelligently, yet a brilliant film has been created, taking Korea to the world stage. Right? The same is happening in India right now. It is just that we probably need to envision more, dream more, create a very structured blueprint to kind of make a division that how do we do it? Virtual production and technology is one, imagination is other, content creators, writing is one. But I think we've got everything on one plate right now. We've got huge supports from the governments. We are organizing such huge events. We are competing. We in a very healthy way. We're competing with each other. Things have changed. I can see today while creating. When we talk about creating original content with different kind of technology available, we're actually reaching out to one another in different other studios with all our competitors, and we are helping each other at one level to kind of realize each other's dreams. It's no longer the mighty chase of the projects that we need from Hollywood or the mighty chase of other projects and creating probably a sweatshop or a volume game. It's going to be there. But it's going to be there in a very unique way. It's going to be there with projects which will have higher selling value. It's going to be there with projects which will have higher IP value, and there'll be more of sequels, and there'll be more of Game of Thrones being made in India. Why not? I mean, we are the ones working for it. There'll be more of, Mandalorians made in India. There'll be more of different kind of series made in India, which will fund our industry. And those original content will also create more and more scope to do research, and to do R&D, so that we can also invest a little more in developing more and more studios. Like, it's already so many things happening in Hyderabad, Bangalore, even in Mumbai. To be accessible to normal people, to be accessible to aspiring filmmakers, to be accessible to aspiring VFX and CGI artists, to be accessible to aspiring writers, to understand how to frame their shots, how to frame their vision, and make it a reality. So this is where we're moving. Yes, I mean, probably the movement would have been slow, but the movement is quite fast. So this is where probably we are. We're already into, but I believe a little more of unlocking the creative vision with the business value is what will change the India market for CG, VFX, and original content. We'll be creating, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Amazon Prime, whether it's Apple TV, we'll be envisioning, we'll be creating, we'll be also defining a blueprint of the requirements of those content. Because no matter what we see, there is a little bit of gap analysis and of demand and supply gap here, because what we create and how we create is always judged by the potential of its value and how much to be paid and how much, at what cost it is to be sold, right? So, for VFX producers, VFX artists, film studios, producers, I mean, the limits of efficiency using traditional production methodology is changing, right? The mindset toolset of virtual production can support not only better creative outcomes, but also potentially, as I said, significant time and cost savings. So visualization again, can help enhance planning, increase shooting efficiency, and reducing the occurrence of expensive reshoots, which is absolutely fantastic, which is exactly what we need. So based on the research from Deloitte, reshoots obviously are, we all know, very common, and budget changes and high budget films can almost account for 10 to 20% of the final production cost. Although not every story that a director is a good fit for light emitting diode, LED, live action production. Virtualizing set saves on travel, transportation, and location costs, and reduces risks. And because we were, to a certain extent, able to do some of these things, I believe not entirely so now, because there's still a little bit of misconception about, we of course need to go to the location. We of course need to go to, do certain things. It not be, sitting in the living room always, but all of these have made these areas easier and have made cost savings. Now, VFX cost, for example, like we're working on a sci-fi film right now, an original content, a sci-fi film based on our own mythology, which I have always been saying and trying to reach out to all my peers and colleagues, saying that, hey, let's create this. Let's use our genre, our mythology, our gods, our all our stories to create something like that. So for a sci-fi and a fantasy film, but a little based on mythology right now, can be as high as, I would not say really as high as 30-40% of the film budget, and shooting against an LED wall significantly reduces the post-production VFX costs. Of course, there will be certain other challenges with costs like compositing, rotoscoping, and helps the intelligent filmmakers, the aspiring filmmakers who can probably create, and inspired by filmmakers like Spielberg and so on, can create certain films which will take India to the world stage. So when we probably scan a certain area of a city and make it look like another city, when we scan Hong Kong and probably turn it into a futuristic city, which we have dreamt in our content, and which we have visualized and written in our content, and created a whole new Gotham City kind of a feel. The process has obviously this process of virtual production, this process of scanning, this process of LED, even if sometimes you're using Unreal to visualize on the screens of the DOP and the director, but still using green, has helped us to kind of move to that area wherein we have the courage to say that, all right, today we can make this film. Earlier, if I have to make a Mahabharat, my cost is going to be 100 million. But now if I talk about making a Mahabharat, it's probably going to be lower with intelligent planning and platforms. It's obviously not going to be lower where it will bring down our value. Of course, we need that money, but that is where I think we are reaching. We need to pay more focus. We need to invest a little more to arrive there. I would like to see if I have my host with me, if we can play the link to the Mandalorian just for the aspiring students and people, just a little bit, which I also always enjoy watching.
Playing stagecraft to get better and more powerful and more flexible.
Today, I'm particularly excited to be rolling out Stagecraft 2.0. Stagecraft really is an end-to-end solution.
And almost every feature that's in there now came about because of a specific filmmaker request.
Unparalleled rendering power at incredible resolution, both on the walls and on the ceiling.
We've essentially built a platform that we can continue to build upon, from scouting to virtual cameras, motion capture performance, and finally LED volume content.
So whether it's the color pipeline or the CG rendering or the software or the hardware, because we are bringing that whole package together with all that experience, we've been able to solve those problems quickly and get to shooting.
It also has forced us into having a more efficient workflow that draws pre-production, post-production, and production all into one continuous pipeline.
When you write and you shoot and you direct, you get so inspired by being on an actual location. That's where you come up with most of your shots. What's wonderful about this system is everyone's on the same page.
We now have the capability to grab hold of any tree in a forest, of which there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and move them around independently to reset dress on the day based upon what we were seeing through the camera.
Even though the set has not been built, it's built virtually, but we're physically there, and it feels like you're really walking through the space.
It inspires the actors, inspires the filmmaker to now see what they're shooting. You know, it's like painting with the lights on finally.
Everybody knows what something looks like, how the sequence is going to be put together, where the camera should go. It's all worked out in advance.
For me to be flying around virtually all the different locations, real and virtual, sets that we're going to build and non-sets that we're just going to be on the volume with John, who's in LA and I'm in Austin, and we're going and checking it out together. It's like when we get to shooting, you're not even shooting. It feels like you're reshooting.
You can really, on the day, focus on performance and getting those shots in a really efficient way. As a director, that's what you dream about.
In the past, we would have computer models or we would have miniatures, or sometimes we'd have photography on set. We can now take all of those things and throw them in together. We can go LiDAR something. We can go to on location and fly a drone over some mountains and throw all of that stuff in the mix.
In addition to providing higher quality, using stagecraft can save your production money and time, because otherwise you would have to execute all of this work in a post-production period.
And there are certain shots where you have live action in the foreground, you have a miniature shoot that was texture mapped onto the geometry of a digital environment in the wall, and then in the deep background are stop motion figures that are.
We will play another video in relation to this. We'll play another video in relation to this, which is exactly what I did for the Final Fantasy ride, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. So you can keep the volume a little low. So let's play FF ride. Yeah, let's play the FF ride, and then we'll do a little bit of explanation on that. Yeah, so you know what we've seen right now. Of course, The Mandalorian we've all seen. I just wanted to, see it once with you because it's more of a conversation and it's more of a sharing ideas and experiences and how virtual production probably can help and a lot of stuff that is helping us and all of us right now. To kind of bring our work to the right track. The same thing we did for a show, an 8K ride. And currently we're doing that for a film, the Final Fantasy 15, and there's a 180-degree screen. If we can see the video, I don't know if the video is too heavy to play, but it's a 180-degree screen, which is a projection, and this is an 8K ride connected to the vehicle, which is on the center. The vehicle is programmed with the media. And whatever is happening in the media, you're basically feeling the effect of it in the vehicle because the programming has been done in Unreal with that 180-degree screen, which is projected and programmed with the vehicle. It's like the King Kong ride in Universal. So yeah, let's see if it plays. Can go a little forward. A little forward, a little more. Yeah, so this is right. Let it play. Yeah, so now you can see that the starts, and of course at that time, we were not in the Unreal 5 days, and this entire thing, even though what we are seeing right now is 2K, and we can still go a little forward on it because the action is later. So it is a 2K visual, but it's projected in 8K against a 180-degree screen programmed with a vehicle that is programmed by SimWorks, and using we've used Unreal for this, and the same thing at whatever quality we need is what we're using today, for our films. It's only that there's a certain bit of spillover, a certain bit of reflection issues, but as long as we can use all of these and make our world smaller by making it bigger, we have the entire world with us to create, and then we can probably envision and dream of what exactly we're creating, which we're trying to do at this present with original content, with creating more content from India, with driving the revenue process for M&E sector, instead of relying too much on content work to be given to us, on outsourced work to be given to us. On a little bit, Ahmed, I think we got the overall point. If there's a little lagging, so we can stop the video now. If I go back to a little bit of talks that I'm quite fond of Ben Grossman and David Morin. So like David defines David defines virtual production as the ability to mix live footage and computer graphics at once, to get real-time feedback, and to make decisions on set about the VFX and animation. It's real-time computer graphics on set, where real-time computer graphics can and do inform your decisions as a filmmaker. Virtual production is also the process of creating the digital world, beginning with the inception of the movie and ending with the final VFX centered around the real-time interaction on set. VFX is no longer considered post. The order of production is no longer in order, which is a lovely line to end with. So yes, of course, the order of production is no longer in order because we have been doing this already. So let's do this at a pace right now, which can benefit our 1 year's projections that we have probably formalized for that the numbers that we have seen from the OTTs and all that stuff. The evolution, the evolution of VFX is no longer obviously also the catch-all at the end of production. The film evolved from physical to digital. VFX is also continuing to evolve, and so are our expectations for production and its speed and flexibility. So right now we have kind of invested heavily. We've taken a risk as well, a little bit, that you can say, in creating, in stopping a lot of our, not exactly stopping, I would say that in kind of limiting a lot of our outside work and kind of coding it down to core production that we're doing for some of the very high-end CGI and content-driven films. But at the same time, investing in this to create more of original content, using all of this that you've seen so far. Of course, we are all very fond of the processes that have been followed so far, including The Mandalorian that we have seen. As for aspiring students and filmmakers, I believe that we have seen. If not, we are watching it. We are learning about it every day. The same process has been happening in terms of content writing and script writing. We have been talking to different filmmakers across the globe and making a forum of filmmakers who probably were not able to do the films that they wanted to do 5 years before. But now they're coming forward and expressing and talking about what probably can be done. And these are very intelligent filmmakers. These are genre writers, and these genre writers are taking up the mantle to provide filmmaking today the boost, the content boost, the philosophy boost that it needs, with the help of all of these technology that is available to us at this point of time. We've created a small a drive to fund a few aspiring filmmakers and create IPs and make a certain value out of it. It is not like the crypto, I must say, but it is more of an IP driven, wherein there is a process to it. So we work with those filmmakers, and we divide the process into 3 stages. The first stage is that of obviously creating, envisioning what story. The story is told in 2 lines, and then we write a script, and then the screenplay is written. Then the screenplay is the second stage of that. Is the screenplay is divided with the help of technology in how a breakdown of how it is to be done, what is the budget, what is the way to be shot, how many live locations, and what we can do probably using virtual production and other technology. And the third is that to probably get also which we have a few right now, investors and a forum to invest in those movies over a span of 3 years, and based on the subjects that we have chosen, probably, as I said in the beginning, probably horror, adventure, mythology, superhero, creature, based on those genres. We divide the budget and we allot that budget, and we start putting funds into them, and creating stories out of that, and also making teasers, so that probably those teasers can go live and get funded. And when the teasers get funded against the story that the teaser and against the script that the teaser is made for, then we have more possibilities of making more and more larger than life VFX and CGI driven, beautiful looking, beautiful visuals film from India. And that is exactly what we're trying at present. We're going to be announcing some of that more in the coming days. But I would also like to say that in terms of spreading out your wings and probably thinking from, if we're in a CGI VFX platform, of course it is because there is a content which needs the help of CGI VFX. So it's ultimately all woven together into one. And if we can understand more, if we can give more scope, if people can reach out as to what they're thinking, and make at least teasers using technological innovations, and put them out, and you guys can reach out to us, as well as I think all our peers and other people. They also will be very interested, I believe. Then we can more and more understand the potential for what can be invested in, created, produced for OTTs, produced for theaters. Theaters have opened up, and make India a great show. Make it a really, really great show. So content has to support and VFX has to support content. So it's not a one way. I mean, a lot of people say that it's a one-way platform. It is not a one-way platform. It has been a little disconnected, throughout the process. But I feel the gap is lessening and it's coming together. And what we all are doing right now, the gap will be lessened up even more. And I think we'll be working as a team with all of this that we have to create more and more original content, teasers, and funding them, investing in them to kind of support new talent, existing talent, revenue generation, making this industry, strengthening this industry a lot more, and making a name out of it, which we making living even better out of it, right? So I believe, thank you guys, thank you so much for listening to me. This is all I had to say, because I felt very driven about all that we are doing using this technology, and the way certain talents are coming out, the way original content is being driven. And I feel it's time for all of us to come together and kind of create a revolution, literally a revolution, where work is going to be given out of India. It's not only coming to India, it's also going to be given out of India. We'll be so overloaded. So it's very, very nice speaking and sharing my mind and discussing all of that with all of you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Krishnavani, if something which is not clear, or something probably where I have stressed upon, and there is another opinion on that, so please feel free to ask.
Yes, Suchit, we have some questions from the audience. So first question is, why IPs are very expensive?
See, it is a perspective. I mean, IPs are not expensive. IP is something that you create. I mean, we used to, it's 10 years before, we used to say that we don't need to, I mean, sometimes we do because to gain value for different stages, but we don't need to buy an IP, right? We need to create an IP is what my entire focal point is. How do we create an IP? Somebody writes, people are writing all the time. People like us, apart from doing CGI VFX, we help in CGI VFX. We make a teaser, we make a storyboard, we make beautiful looking concepts, and we make a film sale. That is the first point of an IP, of a film being made. That is the inception of a film being made, right? So once we do that, and then an IP grows, and then a film is made, and of course it becomes big and it becomes a sequel or a trilogy or whatever, then I think it should be expensive, because then if we have made an IP and it has become bigger, then it's good for us that IP is expensive, and then we can actually leverage it out, and then we go on and create another IP in the future, right? So the process is not expensive. If the process is successful, which I'm sure it will be, then it's expensive. Yeah. Yes.
So we have another question. So is IP safe in India? Is using it safe?
Yeah, I probably know what this question exactly means. Yes, I mean there are a lot of piracy, and there are a lot of story twisting, and all that stuff that happens. That is there, no doubt about it. And changing characters and putting out the same story. But no, that happens everywhere. That happens everywhere. I think it's safe. It's definitely very, very safe. All we need to do is we need to do a copyright for our IP that we are creating. Once we do a copyright and it's registered, then it's all about going ahead and creating it. Visualizing it. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we have another question. What is the scope of new IPs as a technology in the market, as it is making easy for more number of players in the market?
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is exactly what today I wanted to portray, and I spoke about how we can use technology to create more and more original content and IPs. Because if we create, say, for example, another story, if we create a story out of the Kurukshetra war in Mahabharata, or we create a story, something from Ramayana, or we create a story from any of our gods and goddesses or something else, and there's so much of scope to use our content or to create something fresh, something new, maybe a Dracula story, maybe a story of Indian ghosts, maybe a story of Indian creatures and rats and whatnot, So yes, today the content is there. We're writing all the time. With technology, we are dreaming more. We are more courageous to kind of go there and experiment. Use that, make a quick teaser. Like for example, I know a filmmaker in relation to that. And I'm involved in that filmmaking process because I always wanted to make a creature story, and the person wrote something, and it was our vision, and we quickly made a teaser, and the teaser looks awesome. It looks like it's something very different has happened. It's a creature story in the city and all that stuff. So yes, all we can do right now, use that technology, use virtual production. Probably we want to shoot at a particular place. We are not getting that place. Let's see if we have material available on that. Let's see if we can scan that place, if we can probably use a drone or something like that. Let's create quick teasers, approach filmmakers, approach production houses, and it's easy to make IPs using technology. Of course, now is the time. Yep.
Thank you so much, Suchit, for joining us. Thank you, guys. It was actually a great session, an insightful session. Thank you so much, Suchit.
Thank you, Krishnavani. Thank you, India Joy, for inviting me. And I'm sure that in the coming sessions, and I'm very fond of all the people who have helped us throughout, our peers, our colleagues, our mentors, everywhere here. We all know them. When we used to meet physically, we meet them and talk more about it. I'm pretty sure, and they will agree with me too, that in the coming years, maybe the next 1 or 2 years, this discussion and this what we have discussed today is going to be more of a reality. We're actually going to be talking about those IPs which we'll be creating and doing their breakdowns and talking about how we use virtual production, other technology, how we wrote them, how we visualized them, and how we created them, and how they did get great.